sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.
Please. Welcome and hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andrew David Blake Newbar's partner program, the High Performance Call. Yesterday, I was talking to a scientist, legitimate scientist. She has, I don't know how many degrees, a lot. She's a professor at a university. Her specialty is biology, human biology, anatomy, physiology, how our body reacts from a nuclear level all the way up through muscular, skeletal, muscular. I don't know the correct terms because I'm not a scientist. She is. She's the one that's going through everything. Anyway, I was talking to her, and we're talking about she has an idea she wants to get out to market. She wants to put together some training. And I said, well, okay, so you're a teacher. I'm sure you've got a ton of curriculum. What is it you're looking to do? Well, what happened was, and she told me I could kind of tell the story, and since I'm not getting into too great a detail, but in all actuality, she wants her story to get out later on. So when she's ready, I'll bring up a name. But essentially what happened is about 20 years ago, something happened when she was giving birth. She was forced to have a cesarean. There were some other complications, and the pain and everything else that she went through and her body shutting down. And as a scientist, she couldn't figure out what was wrong. She couldn't fix it. And she tried and tried and tried. And what she started to do was yoga. And it was the movements, the stretching, some of that began to help, but it was when she started to dive into the metaphysical side, the spirituality side, the soul side of yoga that she experienced her greatest amount of growth. And so as we were talking, she said that it just really interested her and kind of blew her away, because here she is, this scientist, where here's the scientific method, here's what's been proven and what I can see and what I can measure, and here's this other stuff that's happening that's actually fixing the stuff that I couldn't measure. What's going on? And so she set out to begin to measure and try and find the balance between the science and the spiritual, and looking at things and obviously specializing in yoga and its many attributes, but she was looking at that. And she did more and more studies, and she started to see how, this stretching and this, meditation and those elements were reducing cortisol and increasing dopamine in the right places, and all of these other hormones that were helping with weight management, weight loss, helping sleep better, because the spiritual side was affecting the physical was catapulting her into this healthy living. And she said for her as a scientist, it just blew her mind how much power the mental side had. And for me, some of you guys that have been on these calls where I talk about how all of this is intertwined. If you want to be successful with your business, get your mind right. If you want to be, if you want to have less stress, if you want your business to be successful, get your body right, get your diet right, get active, burn some calories, increase the positive hormones. So I'm hearing her say this, and I started asking her certain things, and she just went, oh my gosh, so you have studied some of this. And I just went, no, holy crap, I'm just so excited that all this stuff that I've been studying for the last decade actually is legit. This is great. And I'm talking to this scientist confirming all of it. And she's putting together something. She wants to get this message out, but guys, it's all intertwined. So yeah, some days we're talking about advertising, some days we're talking about marketing, some days we're talking about the mechanics of what your Facebook looks like and how to create the username. And some days I'm saying, hey, you need to get your shit right. You need to say some affirmations. You need to get out and walk and get some sun and vitamin D. You need to get some silence in your life and meditate. You need to have conversations that are difficult with the people in your life that are creating friction and stress and drama, because it's slowing your business down. And every single week I get someone that I can see it. There's a reason that I do video a lot of times, guys, when I'm doing those strategy sessions. I can see it on someone's face when they go, this guy's full of shit. And that's fine. And sometimes I can turn them around. Sometimes I'm able to kind of talk about what's possible. And sometimes I can see that they just don't care. For them, it's black and white, and it's all about the checklist and just give me my next step, and none of the other stuff matters. You've got to find what's best for you. You've got to find those that have come before you and decide you're going to follow and you're going to do, but then tweak that to fit your life. But don't tweak it to make things easier, guys. Tweak it to stretch yourselves. So I've got a few questions for you today to kind of set meaningful goals. I'm going to share 10 with you in the Skype chat. I'm just going to give you about 5 right now that I'd like you to write down. I'm going to give you more in the chat if you're in that Skype group. Chris, if you can drop that link in there, just in case. And then the replays for all of the recordings are available. The link is in the welcome call that email that we sent out, but Chris is also going to drop the link in there again in a second. We'll give you the link to the YouTube channel so you can see that. But that's a Skype group. It's a challenge group. There's a bunch of stuff that I add in there from time to time. There's a lot of content that's available for you. It's free. So a couple of questions. Number 1, ready? What are 3 things that would make a big difference in your life? What are 3 things that would make a big difference in your life? Now, I've given you a challenge where you're supposed to be doing something with 5 different elements, right? 5 different aspects of your life. So it could be one from one of those 3. It could be 3 things from one element. It could be 3 things from finance. It could be 1 from finance and 2 from relationships. Decide what works for you. But what are 3 things that would make a big difference in your life? Number 2, what could we work towards that would put a huge smile on your face? So I'm saying we, because what I'd like to know is, what are you willing to put effort into? And if I did some trainings on them from time to time, it would continue to give you that motivation to get there. What could we work towards that would put a huge smile on your face?
Would you repeat number 1 again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am going to be posting these in that Skype group, but number 1 is what are 3 things that would make a big difference in your life? And I know someone's super fast on the keyboard there, so if someone, there you go. Chris is dropping it into the chat because she's a rock star, so she's going to be dropping those in there. So what are 3 things that would make a big difference? Number 2 is, what could we work towards that would put a huge smile on your face? Number 3, now I'm going to give this to you because this is a longer one, so pay attention, think about it. You can kind of summarize it for yourself, but what would have happened in 3 or 6 or 12 months that means that your life or your career or your business is doing better than you could have expected? I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to give it to you. But what would have happened in 3, 6, or 12 months? Here, Chris, I'm going to give this to you so you can just copy and paste it. What would have happened in 3, 6, or 12 months that means your life, career, or business is doing better than you could have expected?
Well, these are rhetorical.
For right now, you're going to answer them for yourself. Okay. So this is essentially, if I were to sit down in 3 months, if I were to sit down at the end of the year and look back and go, man, I can't believe that happened. My life is just doing so great. What would that be? Right? That's what we're looking for. 3, 6, 12 months, something like that. Okay. And then I'm going to give you, that's 3 of them. I'm going to give you 3 more. These are fairly short. So Chris, I'm going to give these to you here. Number 1, name 3 things you would love to do before you die. 3 things on that big old bucket list. What would you love to do before you die? 3 things. Number 2, what do you want to accomplish yet this year? We've got August, September, October, November, December. You got 5 months left. What would you want to accomplish this year? And then the third one. And again, guys, I'm going to give you all of these in your Skype chat, in our Skype group. I'm going to give them all. So, write down what I would do right down now is kind of those nuggets that are popping out. There's something that when I say, what do you want to do by the end of this year? Or what do you want to do before you die? There's something that just popped into your mind, right? You thought it. I want to have a meal cooked by a celebrity chef. I want to wake up and sip my espresso looking out over the Swiss Alps. I want to take my partner dancing in, something. There's something. And this is yours, okay? So it's not, I want to see my child graduate, right? Like, that's not what we're talking about. This is something for you. And then the last one that I'm doing right now, what do you want in the next 10 years of your life? What do you want in the next 10 years of your life? So I'm going to give you not just these, I'm going to give you a few more. These are questions for you to answer. Some of these, and when I'm looking at that 10 years, or I'm looking at the 3 big things that I want to be able to accomplish, before I die, when I'm looking at this stuff, now I start to backtrack and I go, what the hell do I need to do now to get there? What has to happen in the next 6 months, or what has to happen in the next 90 days for me to accomplish this by the end of the year? What has to happen by the end of this year for me to do this in the next 3 years? I start to create everything. So if you have a significant other, do like Sarah and Craig. What I would do, guys, if you got a significant other, is say, hey, honey, if they're not here, honey, I was just given these goals, and I'm going to write mine out. I want you to write yours out, and I want to share. And I was told it's not for us to compromise and pick the best of the 3. What we're doing is we're sharing with each other so that we both know what's really important for us. So I'm super excited. I'm going to write out 3. Can you write out 3 for you? Yeah. And you come up with 6, and maybe you come up with one that overlaps, and that's cool. But guys, don't go, oh yeah, I think your 3 are great. Let's go ahead and do those instead. Do not do that. Because I know some of you guys are going to, well, I'm going to take away one of mine and let's do that one instead. Don't do that. Come up with your 3. Let them come up with their 3. Share them. It could be one hell of an interesting conversation, right? You do it the right way. Do it today. Do it, have a date night. Go to dinner. Talk about it. Right? I promise that'll lead to some fun conversations. And if your partner or you, because I know some of you guys do this too, if you start to poop all over the idea, yeah, but that's never going to happen. Honey, this is a dream. I'm willing to work for some dreams, but this is something that I want to see happen. So today isn't about the reality of the likelihood. Today is something different. Right? Everybody cool with those? So I'm going to give you all 10, but sit down and think of some meaningful goals for yourselves, and recognize that the things that you say to yourself, how you treat things, the life that you want to live is there. But oftentimes before you can live it, you've got to accept that you can. You've got to accept that you can. Okay. All right. Awesome. I'm going to wrap this, and then I'm going to share something. If some of you guys want to share some of those, then yeah, I'd be happy to chat with you.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.